Okay, Tony, just a few things we went over. You sent me that XML file, but for whatever reason, it's not doing what I needed to do. So I thought I'd just show you a few things with Mach 3 anyway, and then in the end, you knowing these will make it a little easier for you to make changes moving forward. So what we want to do first is load the macros that I created in the file, in the folder, or put them in the place they need to be so that you can run them. So right now, the macros I created are M110 light the torch and M11 cut. This should just be a 2-button operation now on that control pendant. Now these are just turning on and off outputs, and I think I have them right in that when we turn on 1 and 2, that'll be for lighting the torch, and then we turn off 1 and we turn on output 4, and that enables us to cut. Now obviously all outputs turn off at the end of the program when it sees an M30. Anyway, so what I'll do is send you this folder called New Macros. When you get it, just drop it on your desktop, take everything in it, and copy it. Take all of that, and then go to your computer, your C disk, Mach 3, macros, plasma, and then just right click and paste everything in there. So you can see now we've got M110, 111, and also there should be an M1050 and an M1100 at the bottom, and this is for overriding the feed rate later on when we get into that. So let's just go back to Mach 3 now and show you what we can do with it once it's there. So as far as M110 and 111, if you look over here, you'll see the outputs come on. So M110 turns on 1 and 2, and then when we run M111, it turns off 1, and 2 and 4 are on. And hopefully that is correct. I think we didn't use 3 because it just was tied to the spindle, and there was no good way of doing it without having it become a toggle thing. Now this isn't a fix for the buttons at the machine yet. He's still going to have to light the torch the same way as far as using it without the pendant, but with the pendant we should be able to do this pretty easily. Put this in there now, we'll reset and turn those off. And for the pendant now, to make those changes, come over to config, go to plugins, config plugins, and you're looking for the Shuttle Pro DLL file right here. Just left click on that and it'll come up. Yours will probably be different here, but that's fine. So set this macro 6 to macro 6 and macro 7. Drop down to macro 7 and just put the numbers here, and don't put the M numbers, so just put 110 and 111. So now when we press those buttons, it should run M110 and M111. Make note when you do this, what is there currently. So if you have any issues, we can just go back to that setup. And obviously then any of these buttons that we can designate, we can write special macros for in the end to do different things we would like it to do. So pretty handy that way. So let me just show you then. Also M1050, and if we use that and we go back to program run, we should see it's at 50%. So if we go M1100, enter, back here now we see our spindle override, or feed rate override, sorry, is set to 100%. So we can use that code in our Bobcat post processor to slow our lead in and lead outs if we want to. I think that's all I really want to cover in this video. Maybe I'll make you a video for the Bobcat portion of things, and maybe how we could manipulate the post processor to, give us a slower feed in, and then the flame out. Let me know if you have any questions about this. I think actually there's one more thing I wanted to show you about this one. If we go up here to operator, we go to Visual Basic Script Editor. This is how we can test our M codes when we make them. So we go to File, Open File, and if it didn't default to this place, then again you're just going to go to the C disk, Mach 3, macros, plasma, and we'll just take a look at the macros that I created. So M110, open that. You'll see, this is kind of a pain in the butt. However, if you get decent at it, it's pretty neat. It's just activating signal, turn on output 1, and activate signal, turn on output 2. So when we run it, it's doing what we specified it to do for those outputs. So what I'm getting at here is if any one of these outputs is wrong, you could just as easily change this to output 3, and then it's going to turn on output 3. Make sure you save it, file, save as. So if I save this, let's just do this quick. I'll change this to output 6. And then I'll save this as M116. So now if I ran M116, you'll see that, well, I never turned off output 2, but 1 and 6 came on. So I'll reset that, run M116 again. You'll see those two come on. So you get the idea. If at any point you want to change those outputs easily through your macros, that's pretty easy to do. Again, you just go to the operator and the Visual Basic Script Editor, and then open any file that you know to be somewhat accurate. You know that the ones we did are at least turning on outputs. So if we wanted to turn off outputs, all we would have to do is put deactivate signal here instead of activate. So if I put right here, I put deactivate signal output 1, and ran this, it's going to turn output 1 off. I'm not going to save this because that would change it, but you get the idea, hopefully. So then, that's pretty basic thing on making macros or M codes that you want to just control outputs with. Hopefully that gives you a little help, and I'll be sending a Bobcat file about the post processor stuff.